Hello again. Well, I caught a little bit of Sean Hannity, and last night, that would have made it the 2nd of May. And he had 3 guests on. They were talking about what's happening now in regard to the new evidence that was found with respect to the lies that this administration kept spewing to the American people. And one of the guests was a far-left wing freak liberal, and one was a previous Miss America, and the other one was a regular guest that is much more conservative. And what Sean asked them, he wanted to know if in fact lies were made by this administration, and he gave clear examples. And then he would say, well, was that a lie? And in pretty much every case, the liberal would try to defend what was said, and he would try to downplay it, whereas the other two would say, yeah, that's a lie. And what was interesting is there was one point where they all agreed. You know what that point was? Well, that point was in regard to Major Nadal Hassan's shooting at Fort Hood. Sean had asked if they thought that what transpired that day was in fact workplace violence or a lie. That was the only area that they all agreed that it was a lie. Well, what I think should have to happen is Congress needs to wake up. Congress needs to revisit that particular event. Congress needs to rule that it was in fact not workplace violence, that it was in fact an act of terror. And the families of those that lost their loved ones, they need to receive the honors and the rewards, as do all of those American soldiers that were wounded. They also need to receive the rewards that go along with being wounded on the field of battle. And that's the Purple Hearts and all of the other benefits that go along with it. If Congress doesn't do that, then what Congress has proven to the American people is that they have no backbone. There is no reason that they do not all unite and stand up for those Americans that lost their lives and for those Americans that were wounded during an act of terror. This usurper does not want to admit that Muslims are capable of that kind of slaughter, irrespective of the fact that Major Nadal Hassan was screaming Allah Akbar as he was slaughtering the innocent American soldiers. That, my friends, is what has to happen. And that, my friends, is what you as American citizens have to demand, that your congressional representatives in Washington hold a hearing and turn this into what it should have been, an act of terror, not an act of workplace violence. It's disgusting that the Commander-in-Chief allowed this to reach the point that it has. And it's been long enough to correct the wrong. That's what I think. So what do you think? Let's see what you do. Let's see what you do to put this wrong right.